Hey guys, this is Pearson from Revocation, and I'm here at Drumeo headquarters to talk to you today about some of my warm-up routines before I play. So on tour, in Revocation, we're playing long sets, anywhere from half an hour to an hour each night, and playing at anywhere from like 160 to 230 beats a minute throughout the night. So it's a lot of work that goes into just that one performance. And to help me achieve that, I'm doing all sorts of things throughout my day to help prepare. You know, some gigs are magic, and you can't always do everything that will be a foolproof way to let you perform like a god each night. We're all human, but these are some of the things that you can do to increase your chances of playing a better show. So what I like to do, my warm-up usually starts more or less at the beginning of the day, honestly. I'm just gonna take you through a day of me on tour, because it's all centered around performing at the end of the night. You know, that's the job that you're there to do. So I'll wake up and I'll slam a bunch of water. So I'll start with that. Water is a big part of the day, you know what I mean? To be hydrated and stuff like that, to me, is pretty important. You know, some people have different constitutions and they can get away with just slamming coffee and booze all day, but I can't do it. So I'll slam some water, trying to eat a good light breakfast or something like that, because you're also usually sitting in the van when you're going from place to place as well. So I'd advise not to eat too much fast food, because you eat it and you just sit there in the van. I'll maybe open up a drum book or something like that and go through a few things like on my hands, you know, in the van. You know, compound time signatures, or maybe messing around with a practice pad or something like that. I definitely noticed that the days that I was warming up a little bit before the show, I ended up playing better at nighttime, you know, if I was like just playing lightly in the afternoon. So I'll do things like, you know, just light rudiments, singles, doubles, paradiddles and stuff like that, or I'll try and learn something new. But I get to the gig, you know, maybe we'll get a sound check, maybe we won't. I'll take you up to sort of maybe a few hours before we actually go on stage and play. So I'll eat dinner, and then after dinner I'll maybe go for a walk a little bit, because if you walk or run, that's a benefit to playing an athletic set. You know, you think it might tire you out, but if you go for a run earlier in the day, I guarantee you your lung capacity is going to be increased. It's a benefit for you if you're going to play a long set at night. But after I eat, you know, I'll maybe go for a long walk, half an hour or something like that, to, you know, help you digest, and then you get some breath going through you, some blood pumping. It's part of your warm up as far as I see it. You know, you're lightly using your legs, so you're warming up your legs a bit. And then maybe I like to take like a short nap or something like that to like recharge my batteries. So when it comes time to getting close to playing, I'll stop drinking coffee like 2 hours before I play, because I want to be able to play from my muscles and muscle memory. I don't want my nerves to be on edge, and you know, you tend to make more mistakes that way if you're a little bit more on edge and nervous. So I'll abstain from coffee. I'll be drinking some water, maybe eating some vitamins or something like that. Sometimes I'll make like a shake like an hour and a half before I go on and get a bit of a vitamin potassium boost or something like that. I find all those things help, drinking lots of water and stuff like that. So I'll be doing that all up to when it comes time to actually go on stage. But in terms of the actual warm-up part of my routine, I'll start wearing these babies, ankle weights, part of my routine. I'll just throw them on and walk around a little bit with them. Not too much, because you can start to hurt your knees after a long while of wearing them, but I'll wear them for when I'm sitting behind the practice pad and stuff, because you don't get to warm up on a drum set always when you're on tour. So practice pad it is. You know, sometimes you get a foot pedal practice pad, which is great. You know, you can use those, but I just like to wear these ankle weights and just call it a day, and then take them off before I go on stage. I learned that trick from Gene Hoglan, one of the best. So let's just, you know, don't try and learn anything new when you're warming up. You know, you don't want to be messing around with a crazy independence exercise when you're trying to just get reacquainted with what it's like to play singles and doubles and paradiddles and stuff like that. So what I like to do is get back to the very baseline of what it truly means to have maximum influence with minimal input. So I will get a baseline for what minimal input is, and that is this for me. I find this to be quite beneficial. I just, like even lower than a ghost note, I just lift it a little bit and I let it drop and try and get some good bounces out of it. Because in that, I'm seeing the most baseline of a bit of force I need to put in my hand in order to make that stick move. So once I'm reacquainted with that, then I start to bounce it a little bit higher. Boom, and I'm just bouncing. I'm just throwing it down. I'm not pulling it up. And this is what I'll start with, and I'll start with each hand this way. So I'll just do some full strokes, some free strokes. Free strokes where you're just throwing it down and you catch it as it comes back up. So full strokes like that. I do the exact same thing with the left. Right? Bounce it, and then do 8 on each hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then singles, alternating. Doubles, I'll get reacquainted with what it's like to play a proper double. I'll do that first before I jump into an exercise. And I'm also not doing this too fast, by the way. I'm playing it at sort of a moderate tempo because it's called a warm-up. It's not called a jumping into boiling water exercise. You don't want to start off that way. You're going to seize your muscles a bit. Your muscles are like an elastic band, you know? It's going to be able to stretch further if it's warm. If it's cold and you try and stretch it, it's going to snap in the case of a rubber band. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Play doubles. And then I'll move on to a paradiddles, double paradiddles, triple paradiddles, maybe some flams. Just get your hands reacquainted with what it's like to play those kinds of things. Drags. So you warm up your hands, get them used to playing again. It's not like you forgot, but it's just one of those things you need to get a little bit of a reminder and get reacquainted with. And I'll also do an independence exercise, but something that I've actually learned prior to this. I'm not going to sit down and try and figure out an independence exercise as part of my warm-up routine, but I'll do something like a bossa nova or something like that on the feet and just play some different patterns on top. Those sorts of things, just to get my different sides of my brain kind of working together. So when it comes time to go up there and play, you know, I've got my limbs are utilized and aligned, you know, independence and coordination to try to loosen up that aspect of your warm up. And then finally, once I start to get faster, I'll just play for like longer periods of time of just bouncing and just making sure that I feel like I could do this all day. You know what I mean? I don't want to play so fast for so long that I burn myself out before the show or anything like that, but just get your muscles used to doing this kind of work. One last note on the feet. If you don't have a kick pedal practice pad to warm up with, I find the most effective thing is to put your ankles flat on the ground like so and just do little lifts up like this, little dry lifts, and just do a contraction and maybe just do like 50 on each foot or something like that. So you're just going up and down and you're squeezing and releasing the shin muscle, which you don't use as much as your calf because you're always pushing off with your calf as you walk. So you're a lot more used to using that muscle. So if you warm up the front one, then when it comes time to do longer phrases, all that extra work, if your calf starts to burn out a bit, your front is already warmed up and it's naturally going to help you break up that work between both of those muscle groups. So this is a wise thing to warm up, and it doesn't take much more than just doing this a little bit and giving it, shaking it out and stuff like that. And again, slamming some more water, maybe some vitamins. I also like to close my eyes for a few minutes before I go on stage and just kind of feel where my body's at. If I'm tense or if I'm nervous anywhere, I just try and make sure that my breath is aligned with my mind so I don't get too nervous and I don't do any slip-ups. And then you should be ready to go out there and kill that gig. So there it is. I hope that gives you some insight into my routine that I have when I'm on the road. It starts with when I wake up, and it finishes with when I go to sleep. So really, I'm just living and breathing drums and thinking about it all the time. So you can take some of these examples that I mentioned and apply it to your own regimen. If you like what you saw today, you can click for a free 30-day trial on the link below. You can also look me up online with my band Revocation. Come out to a gig, say hello. We'll see you out there on the road.